Hello, hello, how are you? So today I wanted to talk about emails. I've gotten a lot of questions lately, what is a good open rate? How do I increase my open rate, my click rate? All of those types of things. And it's very, very important, right? Because email is still one of the best ways to reach people, even though I know people think we're so over email. But it's a way that even if they don't read your email, they're seeing your name in their box. The next time that they have that problem that you can solve, they may just think of your name. So marketing takes about 8 to 12 touches before somebody actually does something. And especially when it comes to services type products, things that usually cost a little bit more. It's not like the $19.99 late night program price, but it's something a little bit more. So often it'll be a little bit more before they actually take action on something. And we see that in our sales cycles as well. But I just wanted to give you a few best practices and tips on emails just to start you off. I mean, this could be like 2 or 3 hour video, and there's entire courses on how to build emails so that they work best. But I'm talking about just using MailChimp, MailerLite, ConvertKit, something you can drag and drop. I'm not talking about the coding. But I just wanted to give us a few thoughts to think about when we're creating this email. So the first thing is your audience. If you don't know your audience, and I mean an audience is something that's kind of discovered over a life cycle of a business, you're going to have a general idea at first. And, as some people tell me, everybody's my audience, and everybody is not your audience. You think they are. Everybody might be able to use the product or service that you have, but that doesn't mean that everybody is your audience. Your audience is those who are interested in solving the problem that you can help them with and invested. Now, invested is the piece that is a little bit more struggling, right? Because I know service providers, especially if you offer free consultations or anything, you get lots of people wanting freebies, but not a whole lot, often not enough of a ratio to people who are actually purchasing stuff. And that's probably because you don't have your audience exactly right. There are two, pieces to that audience. The audience of yours that's at the top of the funnel that isn't buying anything, and then the audience that is buying things, which is down here. So we want to make sure that the audience we're looking for are the people that have been purchasing products or services from you, and those are your real clients, not all those people who love you to death but don't actually invest in you. It's all the people that actually invest in you. That are your clear-cut audience. So make sure that you're focusing on them and you're speaking to them in your email. The other thing is that sometimes people forget, even in a newsletter, there should be a strong call to action right off the bat, so that they know exactly what this email is about, what you want them to do, or what you're going to want them to do. There's nothing worse to me when I have to go through somebody's whole week story before I get to the actual offer. Like, what is it you want me to do? But I have to hear about how their dog, was sick, and then they had to go to the vet, and blah, blah, blah. That's great. I understand you're trying to relate to your audience, and let me tell you, get to the point. People like it. They're busy. They like it. And make sure that your email has value. Now, I understand that sometimes we're going to have emails that go out that just promote things, but if we're not just promoting something, we want to make sure that we send them lots and lots of value. Again, it's just like social media, where for every 9 times you give them value, you can promote something. So give them 9 nice pieces of valuable information, and then hit them with something. Don't make it always sales. There's nothing worse than getting a daily email about the person's promotion all the time. So make sure that there is value. The other thing I want to talk about is that when it comes to audience, some people are like, oh, should I send an email? I only have 50 or 100 people on my list. It's really not enough to send an email. You don't need to have a specific number in order to make it worth sending an email. It could be one person on your list. It's worth sending an email if they are the right audience. So this goes back to knowing your audience, but I want to tell you that quality matters way over quantity. If you have those really targeted people on your list rather than just anybody who wanted your freebie but is never going to invest. It doesn't matter how big the size of your list is, you're going to sell more than those bigger lists that have the quantity over quality. So really look for getting quality people on your list, the people who will invest in themselves or invest in their business and have the problem that you solve. That is your audience. Another thing is being consistent. So that is probably one of the biggest downfalls of a lot of people, is if they're not consistent. And I'm not saying that you have to email every day. In fact, please, Lord, do not email your people every day unless they have signed up for some special program or daily motivation or yada yada. Unless they ask to be emailed every day, I would really highly suggest that that is way too consistent. However, once a week, once a month even, if you only email them once a month, but you do it consistently, that's just as effective. It gives you once a month to tell them about any specials or thoughts you've had or changes in your services or products, and give them valuable information, you know. So what is it that your audience is looking for? What do they need to know about? And then just write a few paragraphs on that. It doesn't have to be extensive. It just has to be useful. So one thing that is, if it's possible, above the fold call to action. So we talked that there should be a call to action. And again, it should be right at the top. And above the fold means that when you open up your email, you don't scroll. Whatever you see in that first window box is you're above the fold. So that means that somebody, you know, it could just pop up on their email server and they don't even necessarily need to open it, but they would see that right away. So they know exactly what you want them to do. And I'll show you a couple of emails in just a moment that have actually done pretty well for me. So always have the contact info on the email as well. Sometimes this seems like a silly thing, but sometimes people forget this part. It's so essential. You know, leave your share buttons, your social media buttons, leave your contact information. You know, do you want them to snail mail you, email you, call you? What do you want them to do? Make sure that all the information, all the ways to contact you are on that email, because often people will think of you and go, oh, I have an email from her somewhere, even if they can't remember your website name. And then they can go back to it, and they're hoping that your information is right there, that they can just give you a call. And it makes it easy for them. So these are, of course, just a few tips. A few others is just be careful of your subject line. Words. Words like specialists actually don't work because they have Cialis in it, and Cialis, Viagra, any kind of spam that you've ever seen with those types of words, it's going to have big effects on your inbox rates. So just be careful with the title, keep free out, keep any kind of spammy language out there. And you can even look that up, spam language and subject lines. And there's tons of sites out there that have lists of them. So you just want to be careful with that. Now, I'm just going to show you a couple of emails that have worked for me. Share my screen. Oh, there's Zoom. I'm going to move this down so I can see it. All right. So this is one that I sent for a summit earlier this year. This was to my list that I had personally as a coach. And as you can see above the fold, call to action right here. Here you go. You want to register right now. That's what this whole email is about. And you can see it's not very long. So the most important thing I always think for emails is, you know, the KISS acronym. Keep it simple instead of simple stupid. Keep it short and simple, because it really doesn't need, you know, you just want to get to the point. Here's what I'm offering. Here's the problems that it's solving. Here's why it's important to you. So that was a very simple email. Sometimes too many images can really catch up your emails in inboxes, so you don't want to have too many images. So I usually go with pretty plain text. Now there's an organization I work for that I volunteer for called Woman Within, and I do the newsletters there. And as you can see, even here, it's just a newsletter. It's not even a promo or anything. There's a donate now button right at the top. So if they see nothing else but to donate, I am happy with that because we are highly in need of funds. So that is the purpose of that. And as you can see, it's a pretty long newsletter. It gives them a lot of information, gives them the events that are going on, gives them a couple more little stories. And then this month we were looking for some volunteer positions, so we listed them out there. So you can see it's very simple, it's very clean. And again, you know, all of our social is right here so that they can get up on and contact us if they want. All of our information is here in case they want to contact any of the board members. And it may seem really long, but it is a monthly organization newsletter, so there's always a lot of information. But you can see, again, that it's pretty simple. So, you know, fancy email design doesn't often increase clickage. It's really about the content and what you're offering. And again, who you're offering it to. If you have a huge list of people who are, you know, anywhere in your funnel rather than just in that target audience, chances are your open and click rates are going to be lower than people who have, you know, quality leads over quantity. So click rate really depends on your target audience and whether or not you have them, or if you're emailing a bunch of people that, you know, maybe opted in one time because you asked them to, or you gave them a freebie or whatnot. So that's the basics of email best practices. I hope that was helpful in some way. If you ever have questions about building a specific email, I'm happy to talk to you about what your goals are and how we can get higher click rates and, you know, what's going on with your list or anything in your email service. So just ask. I will talk to you guys soon.